Greetings and salutations, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members. It is I, James L. Seegers, your commissioner, coming to you live from the basement, yet again, of my house. We are still here. We're probably just going to be set up here permanently. I think the days of setting up at the old suite are gone. I love it down here. It's great. What can I say? And it's right at home, so if I have to do anything, I go upstairs. But anyway, it's time. I am so happy to say that at this point, 94 of the 96 owners have been paid for and locked in. We are locked in so much further or faster than we've ever been locked in before. Super proud. That means we have a lot of repeat owners who have taken this league very seriously, who want to get in at the discounted price. Not everyone did, but super proud to say I don't think it's ever been set up where we are locked in with 96 teams, even though they're not all paid for, but 94 of the 96 are paid for as of this moment. On August 20th, are you kidding me? Thank you so much. I mean, we have a lot of new owners. We have a lot of repeat owners, though, for sure. And most of the repeat owners have brought, or the people who have been brought in by very loyal owners, especially some that have only been in the league 1 or 2 years but loved it and wanted to spread the MUSL gospel. And speaking of spreading the MUSL gospel, that's what I'm here to do today, folks. It is time for the annual preseason edition of the Commissioner's Corner, where I, James L. Seagraves, your commissioner, will break down the league for all the new people. Refresher course maybe for some of you who, and we're out of football mode. I get that. But also, for the people who are new, you get to see everything you want to know about the league. People who are not new and don't really care to hear about the rundown of all the same. So there's zero changes from scoring, by the way. I'll just get that out of the way right now from last year. So if you're in the league last year, scoring's going to be exactly the same. No, we didn't do any experiments like last time we did in the playoff challenge. So if you do not want to go over this recourse, skip ahead. I'm going to put in the comment, just in descriptions or description of the video, the timestamps, so you can skip right to the beauty of the thing, which is, of course, the conference breakdown. So, I mean, if you are familiar with the league, you might want to watch the league history section and then skip to the conference breakdown, which will be later on in this video. So, let's start off with this. My name is James L. Seagraves. A little history for you people who do not know who I am. You'll see this face. I'm on Facebook. You have my phone number, hopefully, if you've never met me. We try to get a communication. That's the way I communicate primarily through text. I know a lot of people do not use Facebook. Thank you. You're awesome, and you have my respect for avoiding such a disaster that is Facebook. But unfortunately, with all the businesses that I run, I need it. But I do not try to post a lot of personal stuff on there, except for MUSL stuff. There is a Facebook group. I'm going to be much more conscious in trying to add the regular stuff to the site and not so much on Facebook, but the Facebook stuff's still going to happen. But anyway, I've been in fantasy football since I was in 3rd grade. That dates back to 1993, when my brother started fantasy baseball in 1991. After 2 years of baseball, we started doing football. We had to do things with the paper and, like handwritten magazines, handwritten scores. It was good times. I mean, I'm a pure pioneer of this sport. And I was in that same league for 26 years, I think. And now I'm not. Now this is literally the only fantasy football I do is run this thing, because I pour my heart and soul into making this league as good as it can be, and I know a lot of people appreciate that, and I appreciate you for appreciating that. This is not like your normal league, as you're about to find out. This is nothing like it. This is hands down the best fantasy football experience that I've ever had, and something I'm very proud. Myself and a former commissioner / former champion, Richard Perez, started this league. He brought in a lot of people to get to that big number. I think we had like 50 teams maybe year one. I had the concept because I stumbled upon this weird version on this site, and together we built this. And he comes and goes as time goes, but not in it this year, and he wasn't in it last year, I don't think either. But he was in it 2 years ago. So, but anyway, so that's that. I've been in this sport for a long time, and this is my baby at this point. This is the 11th year of doing this. I cannot believe I'm saying that. We've been doing MUSL for 11 years, people. Most of those years, thankfully, we've had 96 teams. Some years we had a few less. I think 1 year we had 100 teams, 10-team conferences. That was annoying. So to manually do the schedule. But now 96 is the sweet spot. That gives us 8 12-team conferences, as I'll break down here in a little bit. In fact, let's do that right now. So real quick, how this league is set up, as you probably have been told. I mean, if you're in this league, you know, but if you've been recruited, you probably have a concept of this. There are, let me look right here and see, there are 96 teams. There are 8 12-team conferences. All of the conferences are named after in my opinion, the most iconic comedy film. I'm a huge film buff, so the conferences are named after the most iconic comedy characters in film history, in my opinion. And that'd be the Jeff Lebowski from Big Lebowski, Kirk Lazarus from Tropic Thunder, Ron Burgundy from Anchorman, Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Frank Drebin from Naked Gun, Brody Bruce from Mallrats, Rod Kimball from Hot Rod, and Napoleon Dynamite from Napoleon Dynamite. Those are what the conferences are named after, in case you're wondering. It's not the SEC or the Big 49. It is the conferences that are based off of my passion is movies, and that's why they're named that way. So there are 12 teams in each conference. Now, a couple things to note. You'll notice that there are husbands and wives in this league. They are not allowed to be in the same conference. And also, some people have 2 teams, they are not allowed to be in the same conference. Fathers and sons, cousins, brothers and sisters, they are allowed to be in the same conference, as the Krasinski/Miller rivalry, I think, will be renewed again. I think they ended up, and I think Maddie and Mason Bradley are on the same conference this year. That's fine. Just husbands and wives can't be, and people can have the same 2 teams because they don't want to have any obvious potential for collusion. We have the regular season is 11 weeks. You play every team in your conference once. That's it. After that, it goes on to the playoffs. The top team in every conference gets a bye for the playoffs, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then the playoffs, much different also from what people are probably used to. We have some weird, wild rules that date back to the very beginning of the football league that my brother started so long ago. Pieces of that remain alive, 30 years later. Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. So anyway, so that's how that works. And as you've probably been told, when you go to the lineups here, I'll talk about the playoffs. It's like I kind of pieced together 2 documents here. So your starting lineup consists of this. We have 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex wide receiver, running back, or tight end, 1 kicker, and 1 defense. Of course, the real beauty of this league and the very unique thing about this league is that once you start a player, you cannot start him again the rest of the year, including the fantasy playoffs. Our playoffs start in week 12. They end in week 17 because week 18 is stupid. And I always thought when it was a 17-week schedule, leagues that ended their season in week 17 was obviously run by amateurs. And a standard fantasy football league, you have no business having a regular fantasy football league ending the last week of the season. Anyone who has their league doing that, they need to be stripped of their commissioner titles because good teams have buys, and it's shit that could have Patrick Mahomes who's sitting out in the final week. Now, again, that's a regular league. Survivor League doesn't matter. You're not handcuffed to any one player. You can start whoever you want. So, but keep in mind that once you start a player, you cannot start them the rest of the year, period. So that's what obviously the very unique thing is. You will occasionally, and sometimes, fairly often, run up against a cancellation where if you start Patrick Mahomes, they start Patrick Mahomes, you just cancel each other out. You just want to have high scores because scoring points is very important at the end of the year. We'll talk about that as we get into the playoffs. Now, how scoring works, this is basically it right here. So historically, this dates back to that very beginning of our fantasy football career. Most of this does 1 point for every 50 yards. However, in the MUSL, there is no yard that goes unrewarded. So it is still 1 point for every 50 yards, but every yard is actually worth 0.02 points. So if he throws for 51 yards, he's going to get like 1.02 points. Okay? I'm not a huge fan of fractional scoring in general, but as you get to this situation with this particular league, it is essential to have fractional scoring because we don't want to have any ties. And honestly, I think it's garbage if a yard doesn't get counted. Someone throws for 299 yards. That's dumb that those extra 49 yards, I should say, don't count to get to 300. So 0.02 points for that. For rushing and receiving, you get 0.05 points per yard, so 1 point for every 20 yards. Passing touchdowns are worth 4 points. All other touchdowns are worth 6 on offense. If a quarterback throws an interception, it's -2 points. It's pretty brutal. If someone loses a fumble, it is worth -2 points. So, yeah, I mean, some people like that, some people don't, but I honestly think that it makes it a little more exciting, because that way if you're up, you technically haven't won yet. And I think, honestly, fumbles and interceptions should count against you, because, I mean, it really hurts your team when you do that in a real league. And then the infamous receptions thing. I'm not a fan of PPR at all. Some people are like, oh, 1 point PPR. I think your league sucks if you have a 1 point PPR. We have a half a point. It's a compromise that we dated back a long time ago, and it works out, I think. You get a half a point for a reception, which is still stupid, but so many people like it, we kept it in. I am a man of the people to a point, but also rule with an iron fist. 2-pointers worth 2 points. Field goals, the longer they go, they're worth more points. And then extra points are worth a half a point, too. They're not worth a full point, because a full point extra points are stupid. Then we go to defense. We'll show you this real quick. Basically, standard stuff here. Blocked field goal or extra points. Basically touchdowns are worth 4 points for the most part, because you get 2 points for the turnover. And then you can look at this. Interceptions are worth 2 points. Blocked field goals, blocked punts, 2 points. Sacks are worth 1 point. Safeties worth 5 points. You know, this is all pretty standard. Punt and kickoff returns are worth 6 points, though. So that's kind of cool. Next thing we talk about is the randomizer. This is something that very controversial when we first started it. But I think people who've been in the league now understand the concept of it. And that is this. I mean, I hate to say it. Well, first of all, these days especially, people are busier than they've ever been. Now, I think it's reckless to be in a league as serious as this one and not submit your lineup in advance, but sometimes, hey, I'm going to wait and check the injury wire. Your car breaks down, something like that. You don't submit a lineup, right? So, you don't submit a lineup, you get 0 points, right? Wrong, because here's why. Down the road, let's say there's, the Lions need the Packers to lose in order to get in the playoffs, right? The Packers don't. This is probably a bad. I'm going off already. If one team needs a team to lose in the playoffs, then the other team shouldn't get an automatic win to get into the playoffs. I mean, so like, if someone scores 0, if someone puts no lineup in, nobody gets an automatic win in this league. The randomizer prevents this from happening. So if someone forgets to submit a lineup, or someone tries to throw a lineup, it's going to be pretty obvious. If you forget a lineup, nobody gets automatic win. They will be randomized from the pool of players that are not top tier, but second tier. Players, quarterbacks, tight ends, kickers, and defense are ranked from top scoring 13 to 32. Running backs, wide receivers go 13 to 70. So there will be a lineup put in if you do not put a lineup in, period. So, if the Lions needed the Packers to lose and the Packers' opponent didn't submit a lineup, that's garbage. So that's why, Packers are garbage anyway, but that's why that is set up there, so that no one gets an automatic win at the end of the year. Someone who just stops caring about the league, which rarely happens, but it happens every year. It happens every year, but it's not like 40 teams. It's like 1, maybe 2 teams will kind of give up, and then the randomizer will come in and fill those if we don't fill the spots beforehand. Now, that's the thing. If you abandon your team halfway through the year, 3 games into the year, whatever. Sometimes we just had bad owners, bad recruits. It does happen. Like, I just don't even care that much. This is a pretty damn serious league. Most of the owners, 95% of the owners probably, take it very seriously, but there are some people who they bring and it's like, he'll be a great owner. He's just like, this isn't for me. He just gives up on the team 3 weeks in. We will find a replacement owner for that team. We found several last year who are in this league this year, technically counting as rookies. Greg Munger, John Zemer, Bracy Trudell, Rob Shaw. I think those are the 4 that technically took over a team in the middle of the year last year. There might be one more, but we'll find out. So, down towards the end of the year, someone just doesn't submit a lineup, nobody gets an automatic win. That's what the randomizer is for. Some people don't like it. It's like, why should I be punished because someone didn't submit a lineup? It's like, it's not about you being punished. It's about the other team not being rewarded, who needs that team to lose. Nobody gets a freaking automatic win in our league. Ever. Never will happen. So there's that. How to use the site Okay, so this is like my favorite league of all time. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to fantasy football, in my opinion. But I will tell you one thing that is not great, and that is this site just quite frankly is not awesome. I mean, like, it's not very user-friendly, put it that way. And neither is my board, apparently. I'm going to lower this down so you can see what I'm doing here. So this is your main page when you log in. Okay, now the number one thing I will tell you is that they've changed this a little bit, so it's not as big a deal. There used to be like an add drop players button. Do not ever hit that because you're not doing that. What you're going to do is you're going to hit submit lineup here. Okay, we're going to start here. You're going to submit your lineup. Well, this is not normal because normally you don't see this because you're not the commissioner, but this is you, okay? So, you submit your lineup. Let's say we want to start Jalen Hurts. Click this, you hit the add button. This is on a desktop. Honestly, the app kind of sucks for an Android. iPhone app's a little bit better. You click who you want, hit add. Whoops, I'm clicking on the I'm clicking on the video over here. Running back, Christian McCaffrey sounds good. Tony Pollard sounds good. So on and so forth, right? You add, and then you hit submit. Make sure you hit submit, people. People are like, well, I submitted my lineup, but I never went through. It's because you didn't hit submit, numbnuts. You got to hit submit every time. And normally, if you go in your settings, you can actually get it to where you will get an email confirmation that you have hit submit, which is important. That way it's happening. Because I'm telling you, every single year, without fail, multiple people will message me like, what? I submitted my lineup. Did you, though? Maybe you have T-Mobile. Maybe the reception wasn't very good. But nevertheless, hit the submit button. You should get an email copy proving that you did it, okay? And make sure you do this. You can go back. If you submit this lineup, you go back and check and go to submit lineup again. Guess what? Your lineup's there. It's proof that it's submitted. Try to nip this in the bud. Don't have this happen to you. Key game. Every game's key. There's 11 games in the regular season. If you don't have a lineup in, it could be a problem. Submit it. Get the email. Don't get the email. Check again. Make sure, go to submit your lineup a second time. If you see those people there, that's good. Number one question I get is, do we have to keep track of, I don't know why I said it like that. Number one question I get is, do you have to keep track of who you've started and who you have not? No, you do not. This site does it automatically. So when you go here next week, Hurts, McCaffrey, Pollard, all these guys will not be an option for you, okay? Now, something to note is that if you look at injury, this will say if it's questionable, out, inactive, etc. This will have weekly projected points. Nobody cares. So that's how that works. And then now again, you have like two. This is what I don't like about this site. You have like two control panels here, basically, right? You have your white bar, which is weird, and I mean, this is where most stuff is. Submit lineup, player stats, standings. This is pretty standard stuff. Live scoring won't show anything here. Okay, that's the other thing about live scoring too. Keep in mind, live scoring. Relive this classic story. Kickstarter.com. Hey, could be worse. Oh God, I don't know what ads are going to pop up on this thing. With live scoring, you will go to live scoring and you will notice, like on Thursday night games, and if there's a Saturday night game, or if there's a London game, live scoring will not show anything. We hide the live scoring until the main kickoff on Sunday at 1 o'clock. That way you cannot like line up like, well, he's starting him, I'm going to start this guy. You don't know that. It's completely blind until 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock comes, you're locked in, can't do anything about it. I don't care if, well, I got someone who's playing on Monday night, I haven't started him. I think I might start him. What do you think? No, doesn't matter. You're out. You got to get your lineup in by 1 o'clock, period. No mercy. No mercy. Fear does not exist in this dojo. 4 o'clock games do not matter in this league. Get them submitted. Get them set. Rock and roll, people. Rock and roll. In the event that I am working or I'm busy, I mean, I'm hosting Lions games every Sunday down, or every game day down at the Mega XP Zone. You're all invited every week, especially that opening kickoff. But there are sometimes I am not available to do the randomizer immediately, such as Yard Sale Palooza, October 8th. Won't be able to do this right away. The randomizer is the randomizer. It'll be picked beforehand, but it won't be posted until later that day. No collusion, nothing like that. It's just the way it works, okay? So you won't be able to see it. Sometimes the randomizer's right at like 1 o'clock, 1:05, 1:10. Sometimes it's not till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock sometimes, but it's still the same. So if you see your score, you're playing nobody, don't get too excited. Randomizer could come wreck face. Most of the time, randomizer does not win, just so you know. I think last year they won like 3 games out of like 15. So it wasn't a lot of randomizers last year, which is good. Oh, and also, if you get randomized twice, you get banned from the playoffs. If you get randomized 3 times, you get your team taken away. So, 1 time, completely forgivable, you're on a warning. It's a pink list. 2 times, you're blacklisted. 3 times, bam, you're banned. You're banned. So that's that. Playoffs. Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? Do I have that? Do I have that up here? Let's see. I don't think I do. Anyway, I'm checking my alleged soundboard here. It's not looking very good. I forgot I even had this thing. Oh yeah. Here we go. Maybe not.
Playoffs.
That's it? That's all we got? That's all I got. Oh, here it is.
Playoffs? What talk about? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Okay, there we go. That's what we were looking for. Sorry, I forgot about the soundboard. It's here, you know. Got all the greatest, you know. Got all the... Totally forgot I had this thing. It'll be back for the regular podcast, I promise you. But anyway, what was I talking about again?
Playoffs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Playoffs. So, playoffs, here's how it works. This is very unique. Well, not all of it's very unique, but some of it's very unique. Playoffs. We got...
Playoffs.
Okay, Jim, stop. I'm Jim, too, actually. Okay, here we go. 24 teams make the playoffs. I believe this is correct. From the... Sorry. Don't know what that big bright light is in the back. You're not dying. 8 conference champions. They each win $50. You have a $20 to $26 entry fee. You double your money, or at least, maybe more so, if you win your playoffs, win your conference. The playoffs start in week 12 and go through week 16, although I think it's supposed to be 17. It might be. This is an old document. It might go through week 16. I don't know. I think it is week 16, actually. After the 8 conference winners, this is where it gets a little dicey, okay? The top 10, the next 10 teams get in based on record. So the better the record, the better chance you have. And your tiebreaker for record is total points scored. So if you are, last year there's a bunch of like 7-4 teams. The top 7-4 performing teams, in fact, I think I might even have this here. Yep. So last year, this shows you the teams that got in. The teams in gold were exempt because they were the division champions. If you look down, I thought there was one that was way down here that was like just terrible. There's a team that was... Okay, that must have been 2 years ago. Was this 2 years ago? Yeah. This is 2 years ago, actually. My apologies. But this is 2 years ago, for example. So that was 17. So that's why that thing was there. So this particular year, these 6 teams won the conferences. That's why they're in gold. But then Fly Eagles Fly, Partisan to ship aside, looking to Agenda 217. Thankfully, I'm going to read this for old time's sake. Partisan ship aside, looking to Agenda 21/Agenda 23. Enjoy their YouTube rabbit hole. That's a provost name, ever seen one. And there's another one. Look up Operation Mockingbird. CIA implanted into media organizations decades ago to control narrative. They claim they don't do it anymore. That's a team name, folks. Pat Provost, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be here. He's actually one of the better owners in the league historically. So then, anyway, the next 10 teams, so that'd be Fly Eagles Fly, Partnership, Drew Blue, look up Operation Mockingbird, the Clockwork Elves, who ended up coming in second place, Black Hole, the Black Hole, Sag Nasty, Apache Chief, Dublin Drunks, Marlin Incorporated, etc., right? These are who got in there. And then, that's what this is. The next 3 teams will get in based on points. So you take all these teams out. All these teams are out. We then score based on points. So then Play with Mike Ditka, Concussion Protocol, and Honolulu Blue Balls all got in based on points. Because they have the highest points based on something. Shit, I don't know what this document is. It's been 2 years, man. So anyway, oh no, that's record. I'm sorry. This is points. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for here. So this is what we're actually looking for here. Tenacious D, Providence Power, DeWines would have got in this year, basically. So you take all the teams that are conference champions, take all the teams that have the best record, and out of the teams that are left, the teams that are left get in on points. So that's how that works, the top 3. So every point's important. Now, you get to the last part, okay? You get to the last part of this, and that's where you get the lottery. So the lottery is something that some people love, some people don't care for it, but most of the people love it. I'm not sure where the hell I'm at with my document here, but conference breakdown, yeah. Well, this is awkward. What the hell document am I even looking at? It's fine. I think I'm in the wrong document. Anyway, I apologize about that. Somehow I lost my place here. Playoffs. Here it is. So, this is what I was looking for. Sorry, it's been like 6 months since I made one of these videos, man. Calm down. Top team. Okay, after the 8 conference winners, 10 top teams based on record. 3 teams get on points. 3 teams get on via lottery. How the lottery works is this: if you are not in the playoffs already and you have not been blacklisted twice or more, you get you get 1 ticket for every win you have, basically, right? So if you're 7-4, you get 7 tickets. You're 3-10, you get 3 tickets. And then we go to Wheel of Names, and I have this giant pie of like 1,000 entries in there. It'll spin, and we'll pick 3 lottery winners. Those lottery winners get put into the bottom seeds of the playoffs. But, you know, some people, when they start to be bad, they just say, hey, you know what, maybe I'll just kind of cruise in and hopefully get in on a lottery. Now, again, it's very difficult to win the lottery, but the more wins you have, the better your chances are. If you can save some players, get lucky with the draw, you might have a run. This happened a couple of times. I don't think anyone who's been in the lottery's ever made it to the Final Four, but they have made it pretty deep into the playoffs for sure. Sorry, I had to grab something. So that's how that works. Then once you make it to the playoffs, you go through the playoffs. Once you make it to the Final Four, every Final Four person gets an extra $50. And then there is the losers of the Final Four will play off in the 3rd place game. I'm not even sure if these money totals are accurate either. I think they are, because this is 2 years old, this document. 3rd place won an extra $70. 2nd place wins an extra $300, so $350 total and $120 total. Because remember, you win $50 if you win the final, if you make it to the Final Four, and then 1st place makes $800 on a $20 investment. People, not to mention you might have won your conference too, which is another $50. So that's how that works. And then also worth noting that is not on this sheet is that teams who do not make the quote-unquote muscle bracket, aka the main playoffs, they get put into a consolation bracket called the SUK bracket, suck bracket, and everybody gets to play. There is no randomizer in the suck bracket because we don't care at that point. If you don't care, we don't care. So whoever wins the suck bracket, which does end I think a week afterwards because there's more teams in the suck bracket, so I think that might end in week 18, they win free entry to next year. Last year's champion was, I don't remember, McDebo, maybe? I don't remember. I'll have to find out. We'll find out here in a minute. So that happens. And then, finally, there's also, after all the chaos of the NFL season is over, and the playoffs start, there's a MUSL playoff challenge where it's a separate league technically. You'll get the invite to join. It's free to join this, where you basically do the same thing. All the rosters are reset. You can play whoever you want, with the same exception of being able to play them one time. And you don't play against people, you just go for the most points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the playoff challenge wins free entry next year too. So there's 2 free tickets, 2 free teams are given out every year. Whoever wins the suck bracket and whoever wins the playoff challenge. And we just like to have it going on too, you know. So there's that. Now, that being said, I've randomly aligned the conferences today, and we're going to do a conference by conference breakdown right now. I wish this was a little harder to see, but I mean a little easier to see, but still. So we're going to start with the Brody Bruce Conference. We're going to go here and go back on home so you can see this a little bit better. Let's go. Well, maybe not. Brody Bruce Conference. Here are the conference teams for Brody Bruce. We have Team Brian Benor, who is a rookie. I'm going to close this a little bit. so we can see. All right, this is what I'm looking for here. I have to split screen this. So, Brody Bruce Conference. Team Brian Benor, who's a rookie brought in by Melissa Garrity. Welcome to the league. The only rookie in this conference is Brian Benor. He is going up against Brian David, one of the best owners in the history of this league. Now, if you look over here on the right-hand side, right here, we have 3 columns. We have playoff points, appearances, and champions. Playoff points is this. Basically, if you make the playoffs, you get 1 point. And for every round you get, that point system goes up by 1. So if you make it to the first round, you get 1 point. If you lose the first round, that's all you get. But if you win that, you make it to round 2, you get 2 extra points. That's 3 points. You make it to round 3, you get 3 extra points. That's 6 points. Round 4, etc. I use this for Smash Brothers to determine who actually are the best players, and this is the best way of determining this, no doubt about it. So, like, that's a chunky there. Louis Diana, who's also in this conference, he won 1 year, okay, which he got him 20 points when he won that 1 year. And then last year, I think he made the playoffs and got bounced in the first round, unfortunately. So the 3 columns are playoff points. The higher this number, the better the owner, people. Appearances, how many times they've had people have their teams in the playoffs. And championships is if they've won any championships. There's never been a 2-time champion in this league, just so you know. Okay, so going back. Brian David is one of the most decorated owners in the history of the league. 37 playoff points. He's in there, but he's never taken home the crown. So that's something. Louis Diana, he's in second place here. He has taken home the championship once. He's been in the playoffs twice. I think he was in the year. I think he's been in this league 3 years. Took a couple of years off. Came back last year. Proved it wasn't a fluke. Made the playoffs, then got bounced. And then we have Mama G out of retirement. Now, these names might change too, by the way. But Mama G out of retirement, that's Melissa Garrity. She has 19 playoff points with 4 playoff appearances. Vincent Villada, he's a relatively new owner. 13 playoff points and 3 appearances. And I think he's been in the league maybe only 3 years, maybe 4 years. There's more detail I can get on that, but I'm not going to. Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs. That is Cassandra Seagraves. It's a terrible name. Kind of cock, but okay, I'm not going to do that again. Last year I did a whole episode as Alex Jones, and I was talking like him the whole day at work. I was like, thank you for calling the Verizon Wireless Zone. How can I help you? That was not great. Cassandra Seagraves, 2 appearances in the 11 years, or 10 years, I guess, technically. It's the 10th season we were in. It's the 11th season. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Bradley. She was new to the league last year. Never been in the playoffs. Bobby Wood was new last year. He did make it to the playoffs last year. Made it to the second round, in fact. I think he actually won his conference, that means. But he lost his first game. Hanging with Mr. Hernandez, Honolulu Blues, Muckers, and Patrick McNamara have never made the playoffs. Total all that up, you have 101 playoff points with 18 appearances in 1 championship. Pretty good. Pretty good. How good will it stack up against the other conferences? We shall see. So, we go down to the Frank Drebin Conference. 99 Problems is Jim Mosher, who's brought in by Dustin Hanson. He is the only rookie in this division, or conference, I should say. Bonnie Monahan, some very decorated owners here, even though they don't have any hardware to prove for it. Bonnie Monahan has made it to the finals, made it to the Final Four multiple times. She was in the finals last year, in fact. 6 playoff appearances, 37 points, which is one of the all-time best. Do I have this sorted here? I don't think I do, actually. I do not. I have it sorted somewhere, just not on this sheet. 37 is one of the all-time best. Cale Seagraves, 21 points, are also very high. Michael Myers, 15 points. Josh Crampton, 14 points, 8 playoff appearances. Unfortunately, that means he makes the playoffs a lot, but he doesn't go very far. Same with Michael Myers, honestly. But still, you make it there. Pat Provost, 11 points, 3 appearances. Antoine Bacon, 7 points, 3 appearances. Steel City Stackers, Dustin Hanson. Hey, Dustin Hanson and his guy are both in the same league here. 7 points, 3 appearances. Almost everyone in this damn league has made the playoffs, by the way, in this conference. Steve Garrity, Rocky Keeling, James St. Germain, who was new last year, made the playoffs and actually won a playoff game. That's based on that number. And Andy Plum, the one person who has not made the playoffs aside from Jim Mosher there, and that is Andy Plum. So Frank Drebin, 124 points, 37 playoff appearances in this conference, but 0 champions. We go down to the Jeff Lebowski conference. We have 3 rookies here. 3 rookies. And Charlie Schertle, Chris Kissel, and John Zemer. John Zemer's he's kind of a redshirt, freshman here, or sophomore, whatever the hell it is. He took over a team last year, so he's a little not quite as rookie. But we do have one champion, that is Alan Harvey, who won the league a couple years ago. I think it was 2020 maybe. Made the playoffs twice, though. He's not done much since then, honestly. Ryan Frazier, he seems to always be in the hunt, but I cannot believe this guy's only made the playoffs 3 times. But as you can see based on the points, he has definitely made it far. That's a Final Four appearance, possibly 2 Final Four appearances. Dublin Drunk's been in it since the beginning, just like me. He's got more playoff points than me. He's been in the playoffs more than me, but just can never seem to get super far into the playoffs. And then you got a bunch of relatively not great playoff performers here. Kyle Stoker, Eric Hester. It might be Ben Hester. I have them both listed as Eric. I don't know who's who. Cody Cole, Roger Brewer, all have made the playoffs. None of them really did much. None of them actually won a game even. And then Parker Dalton and Bracy Trudell, who's a borderline rookie. I have him down as 0. He should be a rookie. He kind of had a team with his wife, and they split off. They didn't split off. They just got married, in fact. So he started his own team. And then, so 56 playoff points and 12 appearances, but there is one champion. So this is like, to quote Ron Burgundy, this should be the Ron Burgundy division. This is amateur hour here. But there is a champion. And there's Frazier. He's pretty good. Even though, I can't believe he's only made the playoffs 3 times. Going down to the Jeff Spicoli conference here, we have 0 champions here too. Not a lot of, a lot of people have made the playoffs though. DeWyans, the hands-on favorite to win this one, although Paul Wallenwine has been in the league twice and has made the playoffs both times and made it pretty far in. Derek Gregory, Larry Weinberg, Paul Wallenwine, Greiner, Endicott, Nick Harris, and Craig Monahan returning after several years off. They've all made the playoffs multiple times. Then you have Young Cromwell, OJ, and Jordan Craig, who've all made the playoffs once. Cromwell, the only one to actually win a game in the playoffs. And then the lovable David Dalton, who was a first-year player last year, did not make the playoffs, but there. 83 playoff points, so not great. 27 appearances is pretty impressive, though. They just don't go very far. You take those, they went okay. No winners, though. Then we get to this conference, which is pretty brutal, because you have 3 rookies, one of which is not a full rookie, and Greg Munger, but he's officially a rookie. Chad Lisk, Craig Kissel, all 3 rookies, and they are in a conference with not 1, not 2, but 3 former champions, and Pat Provost, who I'm pretty sure actually... Didn't he win one year? How is this not on here? I don't know. Maybe my numbers aren't right here. There might be 4 champions in this. Nah, maybe not. Who won? Who beat Lennon? I thought Provost beat Lennon. Valenti might have beat Lennon, though. I don't know. There's so many teams, it gets hard to keep track of. Yes, sorry. I couldn't remember who, I had to go look and see who my son lost to in the finals, but it was actually Scott Miller, a.k.a. Taco Tuesday, not to be confused with Password is Taco. A lot of similar names here. Scott Miller won and then left the league, which is weird. Probably couldn't live with the fact that he might not win again. So anyway, Pat Provost, who has made it to the finals a couple of times, and Final Four a couple times, 6 playoff appearances, 24 playoff points. That's where he's at. Never won. Brady O'Bush, however, has one. Cloco Kiss has one. Cloco Kiss won, I think, in 2020, maybe 2021. Ashley Cromwell won like in 2018 or something. I went and back and looked at something because I swear I keep thinking Brian David has won a championship. And a long time ago, there was a massive controversy in the finals where someone doctored screenshots and sent them saying, "Oh, hey, this was submitted," and but later admitted, I think, to not to me, but to someone else, that what he did was false. And I thought that Brian David was on the other end of that, but it wasn't. It's Brian Carey. And when I went and looked, and Brian Carey has not logged into my fantasy league for 3,152 days. That is saying something, folks. That shows you how long this league has been in existence. Brian Carey was in the league the next year, too. So, I mean, that's weird. Anyway. Yeah, like, and just so you know, I mean, we cracked down on the person, and they were not awarded the screenshots. They were clearly not legit, and yeah, justice prevailed. Even though I've never even met Brian Carey. That's the thing. There's a lot of people in this league I've never met. Just so you know, referrals of referrals, referrals of referrals, of referrals. People I know by name, people I know by team name, people I would never notice if I ever saw them in the street. In fact, one time I was at Target or somewhere, so I was like, "Oh, you're the commish, right?" I was like, who are you?" You know, they recognize you from these stupid videos, so it's cool. I'm glad people actually watch these. But anyway, so Brady O'Bush and Coco Kiss both with championships there. Then Granny's Baloney Curtains, Cody Provost, 8 playoff points, 3 appearances. That means he's gotten pretty good. And then Whispering Eyes, Jason Taylor's been in this league a while. He's only made the playoffs one time. It's kind of crazy. Corey Brewer, 3 points, 2 appearances. Then Mason Bradley, who was new last year, and Jamie Phelps, also new last year, have never made it. So we got 3 rookies, 3 champions. Yikes. That's going to be a wild one. 124 points, tied for the toughest conference so far with Frank Drebin, but with 3 champions, 23 appearances versus 37, but 3 championships versus 0. Gotta give it to the Lazarus Conference as being the most difficult so far. And probably in general. And then we have the Napoleon Dynamite Conference, which features 3 rookies in Austin Pollard, Rob Shaw, and Austin O'Neill. 2 Austins are both in here. Rob Shaw kind of took over a team in the middle of the year last year. Had a login problem with this hit with formerly tips and tricks. His login didn't work for some reason. But you have the defending champion in this one, folks. Pay Calvin his money. Eric Minturn, 21 playoff points, 1 appearance, 1 championship. Mullen Incorporated, the lovable Paul Ward, another person I wouldn't have recognized if I've seen him on the street, but I know his name, and I don't know if it's Mullen or Malin, but I think it's Mullen Incorporated. I don't know. I've always admitted to not knowing. 20 playoff points and 3 appearances. He is, I mean, quietly doing damage in the playoffs, just not taking it all the way home. Michael Myers, again, he's got 2 teams, 15 and 6. Lennon Seagraves came in 2nd place one year, 1 appearance. He's been in the league, I think this is his 4th year. 1 appearance, 2nd place. Neil Seagrave's been in the league since the beginning, 6 appearances, only 12 points, so he doesn't go very far. Bob Ames used to be able to slam dunk in high school, and it's a slam dunk. He will make it kind of far in the playoffs if he makes it. 2 appearances, 12 points. Then you have Chris Russell and one of the Hester brothers. I don't know which one. Says Eric, but they're both listed as Eric. Both made the playoffs once. Both got bounced in the first game. And then Aiken for a ship has not made the playoffs yet. 97 playoff points, 21 appearances, and 1 championship. That coming to last year's champion, Eric Minturn. And then we go down to now. Okay, well, we may be mistaken here. So, Rod Kimball Conference. On paper, according to playoff performance strictly. Well, you can't really count this because Aaron Minturn took over this team. This is not Eric Minturn, so we're gonna strike that from the record. Because those are 0-0-0s. Because Aaron Minturn took over Eric Minturn's team, has not done anything. She's a rookie. She's a rookie. We're going to say she's a rookie. But anyway, take her out, and they're still the hardest conference, according to this. Because you have the most decorated owner in Survivor League history, Dom Valenti, who has 41 playoff points. Which, by the way, did I skip him up here? Yeah, he was, well, yeah. So, yeah. I just blew by him up there. The most decorated person in history because the second team, man. Password is Taco is Dom Valenti. The other one, I don't know what his other team name is. What is it? Chubberts? Yeah, I don't know who that is. Password is Taco is Dom Valenti. I don't care what anyone says. By the way, and I say this all the time, How wild is it that I know a Dom Valenti, a Dominic Valentine, and a Dominic Valentin, all 3 people in my life. Really wild. Anyway, only one of them is good at fantasy football, though, and that is Dom Valenti. 41 playoff points, 6 appearances, 1 championship. Also in this conference is Tony Cromwell, 23 points, who came in second place one year to his wife. That was wild. In 4 appearances. Super original Paul Smith, 17 points, 3 appearances. Jeremy Orr, 14 points, 3 appearances. Josh Crampton, 14 points, 8 appearances. This guy doesn't ever get very far, but he's always in the playoffs. Tom Farmer, 9 points, 5 appearances. Rob Jazerski, 6-2. Mick DeBow, 6-2. Chad Leach, 3-1. Alex Erickson, 2-1. And then Justin Redding. How is it possible? You are an amazing owner, very active, recruit people. Love you, man. How have you not made the playoffs yet? It's crazy. I'm really rooting for you this time. I'm hoping you win that conference, buddy. We go down, and then finally, so that's 135 points, by the way. 35 appearances, 1 championship. And then, so that by definition is the hardest conference. It only has 1 champ. It has several high pedigree. And then there's also this one where we have Ron Burgundy, Pat Provost, 24 points, 6 appearances, no championship. But also Matt Farmer, who's made the playoffs twice, 23 points, 2 appearances, 1 championship. Sarah Krasansky, 22 points, 4 appearances. Ben Miller, 16 points, 3 appearances. Rob Bradley, the Black Hole, 13 points, 5 appearances. Look at this shit. Tom Farmer, 9-5. Will Green, 9-3. Don Knapp, 7-3. Brad Van Camp, I'm not sure why he's there, 0-0. Oh, because I had to switch him with someone else to avoid husband-wife, I think. And then you have James Seagraves, myself, with 7 points and 2 appearances is all. Amber Cole, Bubba Garrity, never done anything. So this is 130. So this is on paper, according to just playoff appearances and points, how far they've gone, the second toughest conference. You have Rod Kimball being first, Ron Burgundy second, Kirk Lazarus and Frank Drebin the third and fourth, Brody Bruce being the 5th hardest, Napoleon Dynamite being the 6th hardest, Jeff Spicoli being the 7th hardest, and then Jeff Lebowski Conference being the easiest conference in the league. That is your conference breakdown. We are at 47 minutes long, and I think we are good to go. That is your conference breakdown. I'm going to be going on vacation here on Sunday, and that's why I wanted to get this done, because I will not be back until basically the Monday after, the Monday of maybe Tuesday after Labor Day. We don't know. And then Thursday is the season kickoff. So don't forget that you are all invited, if you all live in Michigan, or if you don't, to our place at the Commonwealth Commerce Center in the Mega XP Zone to watch the Lions and the Chiefs on a 20-foot screen. Big speakers. Awesome place to watch a game. We watch them there every Sunday. But Thursday night's going to be our Super Bowl, folks. Huge-ass party. Probably 50 people plus at least. We had 63 people at our Super Bowl party, which is nuts. It's going to be awesome. This is our Super Bowl, people. No doubt about it. So come on out. If you have questions, you can get a hold of me on the Facebook page. You can text me at 517-879-7804. It should be on there. I'm going to post this to YouTube and also post it to the page. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a long 48-minute podcast here, but, I want to get it done. And so good to be back. Can't wait to see you every week. Have a good one.